Welcome, welcome. My name is Cindy Lish, and I'm super excited that you're here with me today. I am an accomplished career coach that helps stay-at-home moms with the confidence, tools, and skills to successfully get back to the workforce. Yep, that's exactly what I do. So whether you've been out of work for 20 minutes or 20 years, this is the place for you. Now, before we get started for today, I want you to pop on up to that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel so you are the first person to know every single time I have a new video, which is going to be every week on Wednesday. Okay, are you all subscribed? Okay, let's get started. I want to talk to you today about salaries, right? Your salary requirement. Now, there are a couple different times when this may come up during the job search process. The first time is that some applications ask you to put in your desired salary. Okay, now, this is not a, let me just pick a number, this is how much I want to earn, and put that number in. Okay, so there are some concerns about putting in a number, and there's some ways to handle this. So now the first concern you should have when putting in that number is, well, if I put a number in that's too high, what's going to happen, right? They're not going to call me in for the interview. Or the other option, if I put in a number that's too low and they were willing to pay more money, then, well, maybe I'm shortchanging myself. Maybe I could have done better. Okay, so there's a few ways to get around this salary requirement. Number one, if it's an option, it's not always an option. Sometimes it's like checkoff ranges, between this number and this number, between this number and that number. If it's an option, you could write negotiable, okay? But oftentimes it's a numerical box, so you can't write in words. So the next thing that you can do is write a zero, right? The number 0, which doesn't mean that you want to do it for free. That is a code for showing that you're negotiable. So that's another way that you can handle that in the application to show that you're negotiable. And it doesn't mean that it means you're willing to take anything they're going to give you. It just means you want to hear what the job is offering. The third way of handling this is to research what the job pays. Okay, so how are you going to do that? So there are websites such as glassdoor.com where you can go in and you can look at companies and see what they pay for different positions at different companies, okay? And even if you can't find the exact company that you're applying to, you can look for the salaries for that field, that job title, but also make sure that you're looking for it in the same city, in the same location that you're in, okay? Understanding that, in New York City, the job is going to be higher paid than, say, in the middle of the country. Or even if you're going in New York City, in the city, they're going to pay you more than they would in the suburbs, right? So just understand that and then find out what that number is. And then that could be your number. But a better option is even to put in a range, okay? So you're giving a range of salary that number is encompassed in. So that's a better way of handling it if it's ever an option to you, to put in a range rather than a specific number. Now, the next time the salary will come up is potentially during the interview process. Now, I want to warn you up front, when you are on that first interview or even second interview, you shouldn't be the one to bring up the salary. Okay, you owe it, and I know, right? It's so tricky. I mean, we're playing this little kabuki dance here where we have to stay quiet. We want to know what the salary is. If the salary is too low, we might not even be considering accepting that position. We might feel like we are, quote, wasting our time going through the process, but it's the game that we have to play. You cannot ask what the salary is before they bring it up, okay? Ironically, it's not supposed to seem like you're interested in the job just for the salary. Yeah, I know, right? So now, when they bring up the salary, your best bet is, first off, always research ahead of time. So before you're on that interview, you have researched what that job pays, what they pay at that company, what that field earns, so that you have an idea of a range. So number one, you're coming in and you're educated, okay? And number two, if you can get them to answer for you, okay, it's like a game of poker, the one who shows first loses. You want them to disclose to you that this is what they're willing to pay. This is what the range is, okay? And when the time for you to negotiate a salary is after they make you an offer, Right. That's when you should negotiate a salary, after they make you an offer. And I will tell you honestly, you're not going to lose the job. So don't be worried that, oh my goodness. And this is where women tend to hold back much more than men, right? We don't value ourselves, we don't value our worth, and we're afraid. So we don't ask for more. They're not going to pull back and rescind the offer because you're asking for to negotiate the salary. In fact, most hiring managers are expecting you to negotiate the salary. They have some wiggle room in there and they're expecting you to negotiate it. Now, if there's no wiggle room, they'll just tell you, I'm sorry, this is the offer, this is all we can do. Either accept it or don't accept it. And then it's your choice to make that decision if you're going to accept that salary or you're not going to accept the salary. Now, here's how I would recommend that you negotiate that salary, is that you come in and say, well, based on my experience, I would expect to earn the higher number in that salary range. Or you can come and say, I was looking for this number, right? They offer you a number and you had expectations of a higher number. I was looking for this number, okay? And then have a conversation with them about that. Now, a lot of my clients negotiate a higher salary, but sometimes I tell them that it's not a smart move, okay? For example, I worked with a client and she had a gap. She had a gap in her resume. She'd been looking for a job for a couple of years. It was a high-level position. It was a manager position. They asked her how much she earned at her previous job. They were offering her significantly more money than she earned at her previous job. They were giving her more paid time off, more vacations, more sick days, more everything else like that than in her previous position, and more money. But she still decided she wanted more money than that. And she said to me, do you think I should negotiate more? And I said to her, honestly, I do not. Okay, I do not. They've already given you more money than you had before. You have a gap in the resume. So you're not always just entitled to get more money just because you want it or you feel like having it. Okay. That being said, another way of handling that salary negotiation, if it doesn't go your way, is saying, okay, can we renegotiate? Can we revisit this and renegotiate my salary in 6 months from now, right? So rather than waiting a full year for a review, asking them if they can bump that up to 6 months, okay? Don't make it less than 6 months because, 3 months, 90 days is really enough time to kind of get your feet wet, okay? It's not enough time to really show how great you are in a job, okay? But 6 months, yes. So here's some ways that you can handle that entire salary thing, but just understand that there is wiggle room. You can know your worth, research the companies, knowledge is going to be the most powerful thing here. Know what those jobs pay, okay? Go in with that power and understand that the worst they can do when you ask for more money is say no, right? And then it's still your decision to make if you're going to accept that position or you're not going to accept that position, okay? I hope this was helpful for you. I have so much more great free content for you. First off, if you like this video, then please like it, share it with your friends so I can help as many women out there as possible to successfully get back to the workforce. Pop on over to my website, cindylish.com, CINDYLISH.com, for so much more free content. I have blogs, I have videos. I have an opportunity for you to speak one-on-one with me for free to talk about how I can help you with your personal job search. Okay, I hope you have a super productive week. Always remember you're a warrior, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.